Shifting gears and doing things. Welcome to season 2 of Wellness Matters with Chris Bowe. And we're changing things up a little bit in this season. We're getting more direct. And it's with you, man. So my brothers, listen up. This season we're going in and we're going deep. Because we need to get our leaders back. This is for the man who's been grinding but fading, providing but slowly falling apart. See, like you're showing up for everyone else, but you stop showing up for yourself. This episode's called The Lost Man, because whether you're aware of it or not, that might be where you're standing right now, or you're on your way. But I need you to hear this, first and foremost. Stuck doesn't mean broken, and lost doesn't mean hopeless. It means it's time to lead yourself out. So we need to get to work on this. So you hit your 30s, 40s, or 50s, and suddenly the fire's not burning like it used to. You've built some things, maybe a career, a family, a routine, but deep down, you feel off. You wake up already behind, you're reacting all day, you're snapping at the people you love, you're staring at your phone for hours like it'll give you peace, but it won't. Because what you're missing isn't a dopamine hit. No, you're missing direction, purpose, and strength. See, what I described here is the midlife fog that nobody warns men about. And so what we need to do is we need to call it out. It needs to be dealt with. So first, let's talk about the lie that we've all been handed. And this lie is man up. Like push through, don't feel, don't ask for help, just grind harder. But here's the problem. That's not making men stronger. It's making them explode or implode or completely shut down. You see it in addiction, in heart disease, in depression. You even see it in porn, drinking, isolation, affairs, burnout, and breakdowns. See, we built this tough guy armor, and now we're suffocating inside of it. See, real men don't man up. They show up. They show up for themselves, for their families, and they show up for the life that they're meant to lead. There are silent symptoms of a lost man, and here's how to know you've gone numb by these indicators. The first one is you're tired after 8 hours of sleep. Not from activity, but from internal weight. And I'll throw a disclaimer on this one because I went through this myself. There is a possibility you're dealing at these ages with testosterone deficiency. It happens. It happened for me. I had to go to my doctor and get checked out for it. But I do suggest to do that because we'll get into this later. But if you're physically well and feeling good, it's going to help a lot with your mental. If you're not, it's going to drag you down. And it's going to compound the issues that are already going on. Okay? So I do recommend that you get checked for your testosterone. It seems to be my doctor said it, there's a pretty big issue with it these days. So, okay, got that out of the way. Now, the next way you can indicate that you've gone numb is you're reactive, such as being angry and defensive. You shut down, you're irritable. Like something's always about to go off inside of you, or somebody's going to set you off, is how you're feeling. Another indication is you stopped dreaming. When's the last time you felt excited about something, but something that didn't involve escaping? Did I say that too fast? Let me say it again. When's the last time you felt excited about something that didn't involve escaping? And do you avoid hard conversations? Would you rather be uncomfortable in silence than vulnerable with the truth? Something to look at, something to think about. And the last indication I want to bring up right now is you don't know who you are outside of responsibility. Like you're not leading, you're just maintaining, going through the motions. These are big indicators. And this is the check engine light, brother. Don't ignore it. It means something needs to be fixed. There was a point when I looked successful. I thought I did anyways. I'd worked my way up in the company I was at. I was up to operations manager. It looked like I had everything together. I think things were good. But what was going on in my life and inside was destroying. See, I was angry. I was numb, tired of performing. I'd smile in public, but I'd collapse in private. And the worst part is I got to a point where it led me down the road of relapse into addiction. I was disconnected from my body, my spirit, and my purpose. And one thing I did realize too, and through all that, was that no one was coming to save me. And when I thought about that, that was the moment everything changed. See, I realized if I didn't learn to lead myself, if I didn't learn to take myself out of that situation and do something different, then I was going to lose everything. I was losing everything. So I started slow. I started implementing new habits, doing things differently, surrounding myself with different people, and asking the hard questions. Like, what do I actually want from life? What am I striving for? What's my purpose? The answers didn't come overnight. But moment by moment, I did start to rise again and get to the point where I'm at now. And can I say that I'm free of these troubles all the time? No. We live in a life that is hard. There's a lot of pressure on men these days. But it's how we deal with that pressure that matters. And that's the point that we need to get to. That's the place that we need to find ourselves striving for. Not just giving up or surrendering or thinking that that's just the way it is going to be. So if you want to get out of that fog and you need a framework, just something that you can implement that will work, I have 4 pillars that every man needs to have in place. This is what I've learned through experience and watching others and really diving into the depths of this. The first pillar is physical discipline. That's right. Your body is your battle station. You got to start moving it again. You got to start fueling it the right way. You got to start leading with strength. I don't want to say it's like the biggest thing that you have to tackle at the moment, but it is super important because like I said earlier, how our body is, our mind reacts. Like when I was talking about testosterone, like when our testosterone levels are normal, we react differently. But we have to be able to take care of our body. We have to find these things out. We have to implement practices. We have to work out. We have to pay attention to that physicality to have the impact on the mentality. Okay? And then that moves us into the next one, which is mental clarity. It's good to implement these things such as journaling, meditation. We need to learn how to slow the noise and focus again. Like for me, my meditation, I'll never sugarcoat it. I believe in Jesus. And so for me, my meditation comes through prayer. I find myself performing a lot better when I can quiet myself before my Creator and seek His advice. See, we're not machines. We're men with a mission. And so we have to tap into that mission. We have to be able to pay attention to it. Because truthfully, a lot of the battle that goes on is in our head. Most often than not. And so we have to work on that aspect. That one I would say would probably be the most important one. For me anyways, it was. And then the next pillar is, and this one might be hard for some. I know for me, for years it was hard. But it's emotional ownership. You can't outrun emotions. You can't. And if you don't face it, they will sabotage you from the inside. And what you can do is you can start by identifying, like, what am I feeling right now in this moment? What do I actually need? Right? And tapping into that emotion instead of going back to the old stance of, well, I'm a man, I don't feel emotion, I just do. We have to get rid of that mentality. That mentality is sabotage, truthfully, because it cuts us off from getting to know who we are inside so that we can change it to affect our outside. And then I kind of briefly talked on this one for me, but the fourth pillar that I found very, very crucial, and I recant my statement earlier about mental. I think this one could or is possibly the most important. I know some of you might not be there at this point, and I get that. But I would challenge you to not discount it, though, to look into it and see what maybe you can pull out of it. And what I'm talking about is a spiritual anchor. Like, you need something bigger than you. Because if we could just rely on us and who we are, then we wouldn't be getting into the situations that we're in. We'd have it all together. We'd be perfect, but we're not. So we need that something that's outside of ourselves. Something that grounds you when everything around you shakes. We need faith, purpose, and calling. It's important. And through these four pillars, even if one of these pillars is cracked, I'm just going to be honest with you, your life will feel unstable. But when they're solid, man, you become a fortress. And I think that's where we all want to get to, right? So, I say this with a grain of salt because I do have a program available that is extended that will help you dive deeper. But for right now, instead of worrying about that, right now, you just need a one-day decision that's repeated daily. And so I challenge you to start here. Move your body, okay? We're going to incorporate these things that we've been talking about in tangible steps. If you're serious about doing something different and being something different, then you have to put forth the effort. So move your body 20 minutes a day. And don't think about it, just do it. A lot of the time, failure comes in resistance. Failure comes in the decision to put things off, to procrastinate. Because that's what true failure is. True failure is doing nothing. When you do something, you're starting to win. You're starting to become better, doing things better. So, move your body. And then journal a truth. Do this every day. Journal a truth. And if journal's not your thing, I get it. I'm in the same boat. I'm not really a big journaler. But it's not hard just to write something down on a sticky note on your desk or in your car, whatever, wherever at, just on a little piece of paper. But just getting it down on paper. A truth. Remind yourself of who you're becoming. That's the truth I want you to put down. Remind yourself of who you're becoming. Because we know where we want to get. We're just getting lost along the way. And if you don't know, then you definitely need to be listening to this. Because then you need to figure it out. And then replace a numbing habit. Trade one escape for one act of presence. Put the phone down. Talk to your spouse. Talk to a friend. Turn the TV off. Interact with somebody. Read a book. Educate yourself. Stop escaping. Because it's going to keep you right where you're at. And nothing's going to change. And then check in weekly. And what I mean by this one is you need to audit your energy. your integrity, your direction. Like, where are you at? What progress are you making? What do you believe in about yourself? And that one is huge. You need to be able to stop and think about, okay, who am I? Am I the man that is trying to work toward who I want to be? Or am I the man that is just going through the motions? Checking out, numbing. And the reason why this works is because when we ask ourselves this question, then we have accountability to ourselves. And I think a lot of the times we get stuck in a mode of just surviving, and so we don't ask this question. It doesn't cross our mind because we're just going with the flow. So being intentional about this helps. It opens up the mind to new possibility. And this isn't complicated. It's just not easy because it requires ownership. But it's essential for change. I want you right now to do this. Grab your phone and open a note, or pause and think about this, or if you're old school, write down a piece of paper. But I want you to ask these questions. And I want you to be honest about it. Because this kind of honesty is what's going to break the chains. So the first one I'm going to ask is, what am I tired of pretending doesn't bother me? And if you need to pause this and take a minute to think about it, do that, please. But do answer these questions. What am I tired of pretending doesn't bother me? The second one is, what parts of my life feel fake or forced? Again, what part of my life feels fake or forced? And again, if you need to pause it and take a minute, please do. And then the last one is, what version of me is trying to emerge? And what's holding him back? Like, internally, we want better. Internally, we want different. We want success. We want confidence. We want people to like us, if we want to get real about it. Like, we want to become somebody that is attractive to be around, if you will. So that third one was, what version of me is trying to emerge and what's holding him back? Again, this is what's going to break the chains, is being honest. See, if you're listening to this right now, you're not here by accident. And you got to know you're not weak. You're not late. And you're definitely not too far gone. You're just at a crossroads, brother. This week, choose one pillar, just one. If you need a reminder on the pillars, they were physical discipline, mental clarity, emotional ownership, and spiritual anchor. Okay. Choose one. And show up for yourself. Show up for yourself like your life depends on it. Because truthfully, it does. It really does. Also, too, I want you to tag me on Instagram at at Chris Bow, BOE, _knows. So that's Chris Bow knows with underscores between Chris Bow and Bow knows. I know it's kind of confusing a little bit, but that's okay. You'll figure it out. And let me know the step you're taking. Like, I really want to know. I want to be on this journey with you. I always say that because it's true. Or else I wouldn't be on here speaking with you about this. This is the beginning of a new chapter. That's the purpose of this new season, is to really get down to the bottom of ourselves and to figure out how to get to where we want to be. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. So, come on, gentlemen, let's rise. Awesome. You've been listening to Wellness Matters Season 2. Welcome to the fight for the men that you were meant to be. Also, if you want to get to know a little bit more about me, pop on over to chrisboe.org. That's CHRISBOE.org. And you'll get to see my story a little bit. And also, too, if you're looking to go deeper, you're looking to get stronger, we have the Resilient Wellness Blueprint available. It's a 7-module course that dives deep, gets to the core of who we are, and gets us to where we want to be. All right, gentlemen, stay healthy, stay well, and we'll see you on the next episode.